What's up, everybody? Carmen Disco here on Get Retail Ready. We got Mr. Jim DeBetta on today. We got the show started up. We're in our fourth season. Just started up in January, surviving a pandemic, and we got to get your product ready for retail. Might be too late, right, Jim? Hey, Jim, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, yep, we're moving along, new season. I know it's sometimes hard to believe how long we've been doing this, and I always sit there and think, what are we going to talk about next week? And what are we going to talk about the following week? But it seems like there's just always things to go over. There's always things to remind inventors about. There's just a lot of information that people forget. So it's always good that we're on here and the other podcasts that are done to remind people the steps, what to do, how to do it, how much does it cost, what does this mean, what does that mean? All of this is all relevant now. Nothing's changed in that regard. So we're just going to keep doing the things we've done because people seem to enjoy it and they're getting something out of it based on all the feedback we get.
Yeah, just from the last show. I mean, I get a lot. I don't know, I know you are always getting questions, but I very seldom get directed right towards me about a specific show. But I got a couple questions just asking. Seems like there's a lot of experts out there that pop up at the beginning of the year, different things, different shows. And they're like, what do I do? Who do I talk to? There's a lot of information out there, right?
Yes. As I always say, sometimes there's almost too much.
Yeah.
Because anybody can Google how to invent something, how to file for a patent or whatever it is that they think is the first step. And a million things show up. And from there, you don't know who to trust, who's good. Everyone looks good on paper. Everyone looks good on the internet. Obviously, people can lie about their accomplishments or how much they've done, but can they back it up? And if you're an inventor, you don't know that. You don't know one person from the next. All you can do is hope that you can find that somebody has been around a long time, has a good reputation. I think the thing is, if they don't see anything negative, they assume it's a positive. I would think that too, right? If I look up somebody, as long as I don't see bad things written about them, I'm going to assume that they're probably doing good things for people. So it is true, though, too. We always see at the end of the year or the beginning of a new year, there are new faces in the industry. And I don't even remember who the new faces were last year, the year before. All of us have always been around. And there are new people. And that's good to have new people because it gives life or breathes some more life into our industry, as long as those people act with integrity. Mm-hmm. But we do see people come and go. And some people make a lot of noise. They're great at marketing what they do. They're very enthusiastic. They're loud. They're doing a lot of video. They're just doing a lot and saying, well, I've been doing this forever. And here's how you get a product done. And here's how you do this. And here's how you do that. We know most of them have not done it or have not done it for long. And they may have good information, but it's not tested by themselves. They've probably learned things on the internet and said, hey, you know what? There's an opportunity here in this space, inventing. I think I'm going to go out and start teaching. But what I have seen a lot, even more than I've seen, at the beginning of each year, are a lot of inventor groups and organizations are very active. And maybe it's just that everyone's catching up with technology, that now, hey, there's a local inventors group somewhere in the country. They've always just had physical meetings, like they have their meetings once a month in person. They have 10, 20, 30 people show up, but they've never really publicized their groups online or had virtual meetings because they didn't have a need to do it. Now I'm seeing groups all over the country having virtual meetings, or groups that were already popular and doing a lot, even like the Tampa Bay Inventors Council. They've always done things that had opportunities for people to view virtually, but groups like that I'm seeing more and more are visible because they don't really have a choice because people aren't showing up in person. But the couple of things I want to talk about, obviously, the big groups in the industry, the United Inventors Association, for which you're going to be, for all intents and purposes, running that organization from a leadership standpoint. And then there's this intellectual property association that I've seen now formed. What do you know about that? I've been reading about it. It's just kind of come on the scene lately, but I know it's for the good of intellectual property, for inventors to learn more about the process and to understand how patents and intellectual property and trademarks impact individual inventors, but what have you been seeing? Have you seen a lot of this around lately?
I mean, I have seen the organization pop up. I haven't really looked into them that well because, again, it's one of those things that, um, as you and I have noticed, that when people tell you what you want to hear, um, they are letting you know that, hey, listen, I'm telling you what you want to hear, because when organizations like that start up, it's what people think they need to know. And it's not. I mean, yes, you need to know about intellectual property and patents and things in that sense, but it's not the process of inventing. And that's what, always gets me is, you start up an organization like that, and it could be a great organization. And I'm certainly going to look into it through the UIA eyeballs, check it out and see. But patent and trademark and infringement, and it's one of those things that I'm hoping that organization doesn't work off of fear-based knowledge.
What somebody in our industry posted something this morning about it, and the post was with skepticism. I think the post was more like, hey, this looks like this could be good, but I hope that the people involved aren't doing this for their own selfish reasons. That's kind of what I got from it. But it looks like there's some names there, people that are getting involved. I forget his name. His last name is it Capos, who used to be the head of the USPTO or in some capacity, something like that. And I think he's involved. I don't know if this is a driver from. I'm drawing a blank. With a bunch of balloons. Oh, Josh Malone. I don't know. I don't know if he's involved. Again, I haven't looked deeply either. I'm just seeing it over the past week, but it looks like it's some national organization that's been created by industry people. I don't know if it's a Congress tie-in, something where they're on Capitol Hill trying to affect patent law change or visibility. It's something along those lines. But we know Josh Malone has been really visible and a huge advocate for the little guy, the individual inventor who has had their patent rights stripped away by the courts because a bigger company, and he references Apple a lot, and I think Google and some of these bigger companies that sort of come along, they've got all the money in the world. You're an inventor, you invent something, you file for a patent, and and these bigger companies sort of invalidate it. And I think that because his bunch of balloons was challenged and he fought infringement and won. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't involved. And for inventors that don't know and probably just don't care about all the little details, this is just something that's been an issue. The ability for an inventor to patent something and then for that patent to not be theirs or to be useful. But regardless, here yet is another organization popping up. Let's see what they do. But what I really want to talk about, and not just because you're involved at a high level, but the United Inventors Association, you and I both know this organization has been around a long time. It's been around longer than I've been in the industry, and I've been around a long time in this industry. And it's gone through changes. There are still some people that were involved in it that are still involved in it. Mm-hmm. But for everybody's benefit, Carmine, what exactly is it? What does it mean to the average inventor, and why should people even join it?
Yeah, it's a great question because inventors, and we could say that you and I are inventors, are bombarded with experts in the field, and everyone wants to help, and everybody wants to drive you down a certain path that they believe in. I don't think too many people out there want to mislead you. They wholeheartedly believe that they're helping, but a lot of people are very laser focused. So if you have a patent attorney, their goal is to protect your intellectual property. So they believe, and again, there's nothing wrong with it, they believe that the first step you should do is file for a patent. Others are, hey, listen, you should create a sell sheet and you should go right to retail or you should go right to buyers. But it's all in most of the time, it's all in goodwill. So the UIA is trying to be that hub of information, that knowledge. The UIA has been around for over 50 years. They're born out of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Their sole process is to really be able to help not only the inventor, but the invention world and the product world in the whole. So meaning that we want buyers and people in the retail industry to be able to reach out and say, right, we're doing a PGA show. We're doing, different shows that are real shows, bringing inventors in with products, being able to put that hub around them to protect their interests, and also, of course, the retail buyers and different people that are invented in interest. So the UIA is, one of those things that is the I don't want to say governing body, because it sounds like, we're in charge of all this stuff. We're not. But we just want to be that first step, or that answer to when someone wakes up at 3:00 in the morning with that awesome idea, and then they say to themselves, what do I do next? That we want to be that very next step of what they do when they have that great idea. And the good part about it is it's free. Join the UAA. We have the people, we have the ambassadors, we have the technology, we have the knowledge base, we have everything to lead you down the right path. But again, because there's so many other clubs and so many other people out there, you go astray. So the UIA has got to be a sole purpose to be out there in the front, be that hub of the inventor world.
Yeah, from all the years I've been involved with it, there were times 15 years ago where UIA had different levels for experts or professionals like myself. And I remember they had and I could get it wrong here, but it was like a bronze, silver, gold, and I was at the high level, and I got my name on the UIA emails and on the website, and things were sort of up and down with the UIA back then. I think there was just a lot of leadership changes and just different people coming and going, and I think it sort of lost its luster, if you will. But what happened a couple of years ago, when you were more involved, I know like people like Deb Hess and Andrea, and there's just a lot of people that were involved in it. But I know Warren came in, and Warren is of high integrity. I've had a lot of offline conversations with him, phone calls. He really is for the inventor and really doesn't like people to come in to an organization like UIA, like service providers, with the intent to just outright just go after inventors, charge them all sorts of money, and just not do anything for them. Now, Warren, we talked. He says, Jim, I know you charge for your services, and you should charge your services. Everybody has to make a living. Inventors can't get things done for free. You don't manufacture for free. You don't package for free. You don't market for free. Like any business, you're going to pay for everything that you need and want to get your business going. But he came to me when you guys all started the ambassador program, and he said, Jim, look, you've been in this business forever. You're known, you're trusted, you've been around, you know what goes on, and I want you to be a part of this. It wasn't like he was just reaching out to whoever he saw. He sought out experienced people in the industry that have been around, that he knows he can trust, that inventors can trust. So it was nice that he came to me, and you came to me and said, and forget that we work together or do things together. I've worked with a number of people over the years that I worked with them once, I wouldn't work with them again. Or I'm an acquaintance or friendly with them, but I wouldn't work with them because I just don't really trust their intentions. If they haven't done it themselves, I always tell people, look, I've done this myself. I'm not just teaching because I read a book and now I'm just regurgitating back. I started my own company when I was younger, went through everything that an inventor goes through on my own. I learned it the hard way. That the internet was barely a thing. There was nothing existed in terms of resources. So I just learned on the job, did things right, did things wrong. Luckily, I did more right than wrong, and was able to come out and had a multi-million-dollar successful product company. From there, I was able to teach people how I did it, but to do it with less money and faster and better. And then just from speaking in inventor groups and helping other inventors run their companies from start to finish, to working with all these retailers selling countless dollars of products. By doing, I'm able to say, I know what to do and I know how to do it and I stay relevant. That's what the UIA wants in their experts, in their service providers. And I know, again, a number of the people that are on the board, that are part of the organization. These people that I know have been around. I mean, the collective amount of years of experience, it's like 1,000 years of people that have been doing this, and like you've been doing it. And so at the very least, when somebody goes to the UIA, the first thing they're going to see is free information, a knowledge base, how to get started, what to do. It doesn't cost anything, but at least it's one hub versus going to 50 different websites and trying to decipher what's real, who's right, who's wrong. The UIA is a collection of all those people that know what to do in one place. And then from there, they can see the ambassadors, they can see who's on the board, and they choose to reach out to those people individually to get help. Yes, they're going to pay for that help. Of course they're going to. It's not a secret. The UIA, even though it's a not-for-profit, they're not pretending like that you're going to invent for free. They're just saying, here's a trusted, known entity, a resource that inventors can go to where they can get all the information they need properly to then make the decisions of who and how and what and why and when. Would you say that's a good way to sort of describe it?
Yeah, Jim. I mean, you hit it right on the head. The great part is of what you said is that, yes, it's a trusted industry, the hub. But for years, just as you said, inventors, for some reason, have been taught that because they have an idea, that they should get everything for free. And it doesn't work that way. Now, you should get information. You should get a direction. You should get knowledge. Yes, it's awesome. But a lot of times, and I'm trying to work that out, and you're trying to break an inventor, what you get for free isn't usually worth, enough to get a product going, to get things done the right way. So yes, I'm trying to do the same as you, is give out information, give people that knowledge, that experience. So not only that they can spend their resources, and resources just isn't money, it's time and knowledge and contacts, in the right direction, in the right sequence. So yeah, you hit it right on the head, Jim. We have those people, as like yourself, that can take someone who's just starting out, has that idea, has that product, and lead them down that path in the right direction to spend those resources in the right sequence so they can be successful. So yeah, you hit it on the head.
Right. And then beyond that, which I know the UIA has always provided, is a list of inventor clubs, places that, again, clubs that have been around for decades. I've been going back and forth online with Don Skaggs, who who
Yep.
runs a great group in Kentucky. And I spoke at one of his events. It was probably not too far before COVID hit. And I went to their meeting and spoke about retail, how to sell retailers. And Don is one of those guys. He's been around a long time, runs a great group, but the UIA will direct people to those groups because those groups are tentacles of the UIA in a way, not affiliated or associated officially, but they are places that inventors can go where they can trust the information that's being given, because the people that run those groups are either engineers, they're lawyers, they're marketing professionals, they're product designers, they're whatever it is in the industry, they are experienced in that. And these are all volunteer groups. I mean, they charge a little bit for people to attend, but look, they got to rent a space and they got to print stuff out and give their time. They don't charge anything for their time. They're doing this on their own time. They're volunteering for the betterment of inventing. And there's a lot of groups out there. I don't know how many there are. There's definitely dozens of established groups. I don't know, maybe there's close to 100 or more. I don't know. But in certain states, there are, like California, New York, there's lots of groups, bigger states. But those groups all tie into where can you go to safely get information. If you go to the UIA, and ultimately that list is provided, an updated list, because sometimes some clubs sort of fade a little bit, or they're not as active because the people that run them are individuals. They're just like us. If they don't have the time, they just can't commit themselves to the club regularly or provide new information. But that's the sort of thing that inventors need to gravitate towards. If you have an idea, it's good to get online and Google things. It's what you're going to do. It's what we do for anything else we want to learn about. But if we can steer them towards a national established organization like the United Inventors Association, where they can click on different things that are vetted. I know you all don't just put things up there like willy-nilly, right? You're not just some company comes along, you just put them up there. You're checking them out. You're making sure those people have some experience, that they're not criminals. They're not out for it just for themselves. Again, transparency is key too. I think with the UIA in the past, there was a little bit of concern about transparency, like the people that were involved, were they in it just to use the UIA as a place for them to disguise themselves as, well, look, it's this great organization, it's a non-for-profit, but then they bring inventors into their fold individually and take advantage. And I'm not saying there was any one particular person that did that. I'm not saying that's what was prevalent, but that stuff goes on in any organization, right? So I like the fact that between you taking the reins from Warren and knowing some of the other people that are involved in the organization that really have inventors' best interests at heart while still running a good business. That's important for the industry and for inventors to want to be a part of, versus just finding something out there on the internet that looks good, that sounds great, but really you're just taking your chances.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. And just going back is in any organization, anywhere that's been around for a number of years, you're always going to get transitions of good, bad, ugly, sometimes, whatever. But it's when those organizations can overcome that and rebuild, they come out stronger in the other end. And the UIA is an organization that's, just like that. There's no doubt. Not saying that they're immune to bad seeds or bad people, or whatever. It's hard to weed them out until you start working with them. It's just like, hiring somebody or bringing somebody into the fold or starting with a friend. You don't really know until you get there and work integrally with them. So yes, 100%. But I love what you said about the clubs. The clubs are the spokes that are the main components of the inventor industry. And one of our main goals at the UIA, and you and I have talked about this at length, is to bring all of those clubs together and utilize these clubs. And then when inventors come into the UIA, we want to be able to say, there's a club, right down the road from you. Yeah, it's very, very important to know that an inventor is not alone out there, that there's other people right down the road from him that love inventions, love talking about it, and they can reach out and talk to those. Because as we know, a lot of inventors, some are young, middle-aged, old like me, or older. Some people don't like technology. Some people don't want to talk about their ideas. Being able to offer different ways for somebody to consume knowledge, experience, it's very important to be able to work that out through everyone. So the clubs are going to be so, so important. And that's one of the things that we've already started. We have right now that no one else has on the UIA website, UIAUSA.org, a US map right now that you can click on any state. If you click on the state, it'll tell you the clubs in your area. It'll give you contact information, give you their website. And we just launched that the other day. So those are just the things that we're just starting. I mean,
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, what new initiatives, if you're able to talk about them, does the UIA have for this year? Well, obviously you just told us this map. I know that they had a listing, but having a map is nice. Like you said, you just kind of touch it. I live in Atlanta, I live in Georgia. Click, here's a club or two or whatever. I don't even, it's funny, I don't even know what's going on in Atlanta. I see that, there was a club I spoke at a number of times in the past. They used to meet in Norcross at like a Ryan Steakhouse or something forever. And then I think Dave Savage ran that group for years. And then he gave it up a handful of years ago. And then to some other guy, I can't remember. And then there was a virtual club that actually its domain just went up for sale not that long ago. So I got an email like saying, oh, this meetup group or something. And we have to figure that out. I mean, I'm right here. I would think that there's a way to sort of get a club that's, I like virtual clubs. I think that's where a lot of these inventors want to be. And with Corona, it's not going away.
Mhm.
I wonder if there's a way, and I don't know what the procedure is. Maybe you being the new man over the UIA can find out. If I wanted to start a club here virtually, what would I do? How would I, because obviously I could sort of manage that and bring a couple other people in to speak at it or do something for it. And it'd be a once a month meeting. We got to figure that out. But beyond that, so we'll talk later. Beyond that, what new initiatives, if any, that you can talk about is the UIA thinking about or is going to do that can really help inventors get going this year?
Yeah. So yeah, we can talk about a lot of them. We have a lot that we're still thinking about. It's like everything. We want to throw a lot of things against the wall, see which ones stick at first. Virtual, now that people are used to it. I mean, you and I, Jim, when we started doing our podcast, we'd have to explain to people what Zoom was, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Now, I mean, so good things come out of this. People that have stuck with these industries are coming out a lot stronger at the other end. And the UIA is going to be one of those. So you hit it on the head. One of my biggest initiatives is to be able to integrate a club. There is no reason why I belong to the Tampa Bay Inventors Council, but a club in Georgia, a club in South Dakota is having a speaker from the UIA talking about prototyping. There's no reason why I can't jump on and listen in.
Right.
You know, why not? So we're not taking away from that club in South Dakota. Maybe their memberships have a small membership amount, but why not have that inventor from the Tampa Bay Inventors Council be able to jump on and learn from that speaker?
Or anybody, because because a lot of those clubs that I've spoken at, it's the same people that show up. And so they run out of things to share. And a lot of those inventors have been going to those meetings for years and they haven't advanced themselves for whatever reasons.
Yep.
They don't have enough money. They just like going. They just like talking about inventions, but they really aren't necessarily serious about doing something with their invention. They
Correct.
just say, I've got this cool prototype, and they like to show it off, but they really don't want to run a business, right? Or maybe they're hoping they'll get a licensing deal. But I would think that because you're going to different groups or virtually, you could learn new things from different people. So if I'm running an Atlanta virtual group, and you're involved with the Tampa group, let's just say you're an inventor and you just attend the Tampa Bay group all the time, and I have a different speaker or something that hasn't been talked about at the Tampa Bay group, you should be able to just log on virtually and listen. And you could just be sitting home doing whatever, and you could just have it on the background if you wanted to.
Correct.
That's the way this business is going, like a lot of businesses are going. And if we don't get with that, somebody else is going to do it.
Yep.
So it's interesting, like you said, that you could still attend physically, and that's still good to do. There's nothing wrong, and it's still good to be able to go to something physically. But if you could have the opportunity to attend a meeting every other day, because there's 100 groups at any given time having a meeting, and you're that interested, why not be able to have the opportunity to do that? I think that's just a benefit to inventors versus them not being able to have to drive an hour or 2 hours to their local group, and they just don't want to get out. It's late at night, because those groups are always at night.
Mm-hmm.
The people that host them are volunteers, and they're doing this in the evening when they're done with their day, work day or whatever. They're like 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night or whatever. That's a lot for somebody to have to drive an hour to a group if there's one that near them. Or they could just sit at home and get on their phone or laptop and watch it from there. It's no different.
Mm-hmm.
And you can interact. It's not like you're just listening. I've spoken at a number of virtual events. So I'm speaking, people are asking me questions, I'm answering them. It's as if I am there. There's little, other than them shaking my hand, there's no difference.
1,000,000%.
That's an easy way to get information. Why not do that?
Yes. And that's, you again, Jim. Yeah. It's like we talked before we did the show. No, you're exactly right. That's what we're trying to do. Again, this now pandemic, it's a horrible thing, but people think it's taken away. But when you utilize this and utilize the technology, it's actually going to bring us all closer and be able to be within reach of knowledge of anything. We're also building a knowledge database. All of those speakers, all of those Zoom shows, all of those calls, will be recorded and they'll be put into a knowledge base that we're working on. So people like yourself, Jim, I'm going to ask you to create some PowerPoints, create some videos with short clips. Hey, this is what I say when I talk to a buyer. This is all of that information is going to be available within a knowledge base, because now people are so used to being online
Yeah,
and
that's true.
virtual that it's making it much easier for me to be able to implement.
Right. So, okay. So I know we're running out of time. I think the big takeaway is, right, we have a national organization that's been around forever, that is undergoing positive changes, has come out on the other side of Corona in a positive way. You're going to be at the head of that organization, pushing all these new initiatives. So you have the UIA, USA.org. You've got all these inventor clubs that a lot of them which are going virtual. All this is positive for the inventor. And again, if you're an inventor, Google things, that's fine. But if you feel like you want to go to one place, a one-stop shop, the UIA is the place. If you want to sneak around and see what else is out there, that's fine too. But a place like the UIA is one place where they can organize all their questions and thoughts and get information. And like you said, people like myself will want to provide content that's free for inventors to learn the basics. And we've always said, Carmine, an educated inventor is the best inventor. They're the best inventor. They're the best client. When I work with somebody, I like when somebody has a foundation of knowledge. They understand the process. They understand the timelines. They understand that it's going to cost money, that there are going to be ups and downs. They're not just coming into this saying, hey, I've got a product and it's this. Can we get this done like in a couple of weeks and sell to major chains in a couple more weeks? We know that doesn't happen. Under the best of circumstances, that does not happen. Even if you and I invented something with all that we know and all the contacts we have, it would still take us months to get there. So if people can get a better handle on what to do, how to do it, and how much it's going to cost, they're going to be much easier to work with. They're going to not have expectations that things are going to be done right. And that gives them a better opportunity to succeed. And we know the success odds are tough as it is, but if we can increase them a little bit more every few months or every year, that's going to be better for the industry, for retail, for consumers to get better products, for inventors to have more success stories, and they can run their own businesses. And that's just a positive all around.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And we want to be able to give inventors a choice. There's people that don't like me. I don't know why. I'm just kidding. There's people that might not connect with you the way that you talk or the way you talk, but we want to give them a choice, but still have that choice with the right knowledge. There might be a reason that, hey, Jim, I listened to your show. The way that you did this doesn't fit for me. That's cool. But at least they have that knowledge. They have that choice. And that's
Right.
what really the UIA is trying to do. Give people knowledge, experience. I mean, the people on the board are unbelievable. The ambassadors, people like yourself. I mean, you can't pay for that experience. That's what's so great
No.
about it. So I just wanted to let people know there's no pressure. Join the UIA. Let us know what you need. Let us try to help. You might not like us. You might want to say, hey, listen, I'm going to go with these guys, whatever. But at least you have that knowledge. You didn't just jump in, use up all your resources. And as you know, Jim, we get a lot of people that come to us after they have used up all their resources, realize they went down the wrong direction. It's very hard for us to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're out of money and they've spent a lot of time. I know it's unfortunate. I get a lot of that, sadly.
So we're trying to stop that, and as we said, resources with time. You spend 2 years in your garage away from your family. Your wife or your husband is mad at you. Even if you have the money, you give up, you're discouraged. So we can fix all that. And by taking those first steps, join up the UIA, find out what you need to do in the right sequence. Let us put you in front of the right people that have been vetted, people that have been in for years, Jim. It's so funny when you say that. We've been doing this. I can't even imagine the amount of time we've been doing this. And when people pop up, this new expert in the field, I just laugh. I'm like, oh my God, he has all the right wordage. But what I tell people, and tell me if it's true, I say, well, if you want to work with that person, just ask him this question. How many products has he invented?
Yeah. How many people has he worked with? Do you have any references?
Yeah, that's it. Just ask
That
him.
always will end a lot of conversations for
There's nothing
sure.
wrong, and there's nothing wrong with asking that, right, Jim?
Right. No, of course. No, you should. It's your money.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm going to check out things and ask a few questions for sure.
Yeah. Would you go buy a car that you've never heard of the name brand? No.
Yeah. You're going to research it. You're going to ask around. You're going to talk to people that have had them.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're going to do, you're going to do some homework for sure. And you should.
Yeah,
always.
1,000,000%. I love when people ask me for references. I go, yeah, who do you
How many
want
do
to
you
talk
want?
to?
Yeah, how many do you want? Yeah, all the
You
time.
know, because if you only have a few references, you have to give them this list. You have a list of references? No, tell me who you want to talk to. You know, because I can have a list. I'm only going to give you the good ones. But if you tell me who you want to talk to, it's a little better. So yeah, I love this business, and I love Inventors. I love inventing. I get to do this every day, just like you. I love this business. So we're just trying to make it better. As with you, you give a lot of time, you know, to the UIA. You give a lot of time to people who are just asking questions. And we appreciate that, Jim. I mean, I tell you, man, you and I talk all the time, but I appreciate all the work that you do for Inventors. You know, like I said, I love making money. You do too. But, you know, we give away. I mean, I spent an hour just this morning talking to an inventor. I said, okay, thanks, bye, click. I know you do that all the time.
Yeah, with no expectations. Yeah, you just do it because it is. If they don't work with us, at least they're going to know what to do, or maybe we even discourage them from doing something because they're not ready, or they're not financially prepared, or they had a different thought about what the business was going to be. So yes, we post, we write, we podcast, we do those things that are free, and people absolutely should take advantage of every little thing that is out there from people in this business that have been around.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, man, it's awesome. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. Like I said, Jim, I appreciate you being in on the ambassador program. You're going to be integral on your knowledge or experience. You know, I'm so happy to have the people to be able to help the UIA grow, to help other inventors, to help this industry. I mean, I get buyers all the time that are looking for products, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. So when we get buyers calling us for products, you know, this business is still alive. It's still kicking. And we got to get some good products going.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Very cool, man. All right. Well, cool. What else? You know, we're going to close up the show. You got any products you want to tell us about real quick?
I think next week we're gonna save this for next week. I'm going to see if I can get a special guest on. I won't say her name just in case she can't make it. But we do have an inventor who has been successful with a product, who is in a number of major retail chains, and I was on her podcast recently. She does a sort of a general business-like podcast, but this is the type of thing we want inventors to hear. I'm always working with things. I got a lot of new things going on. We talked about a few of those products last week, things like Beach Box, and we have new face masks that we talked about, called the brand called Together Face Masks. And a few other things that I'm working on in their earlier stages, getting them situated. You and I are working on a plumbing product that is now finally getting into the manufacturing, or the mold stages. You know, something that helps people from preventing their toilet bowl from overflowing. Huge issue, obviously. So there's a lot of things going on, but there's nothing like having inventors who have been successful on the show, so listeners can hear firsthand their stories, how it went, the trouble they went through, the things they did right, the things they did wrong. That's important for inventors to listen in and learn all about those types of things. So I'll see if I can organize that, but that would be a nice thing for listeners to be a part of.
Yeah, it would be. And you know what? We always have stuff to talk about either way, which is awesome about this show.
Always.
You know, we just go on for 30, 40 minutes, and maybe our listeners are going, what the hell are they talking about? Yeah. But, you know, there's that information in there, and that's what's so great about this industry, is always evolving, never stopping, and that's what's so great. That's why I love it.
All right. Well, good. Yeah, we'll keep going.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks everyone for listening today. Again, if you do have some questions or comments, find Jim on social media. You can send them in to me. Go on out to Google Play or iTunes if possible, and subscribe to our show. It would be awesome if you could do that. Leave us a review, a rating. Let us know if there's something specific that you want to hear about. We would love to know. And for myself, Carmen Danisco, for Mr. Jim DeBetta, the Retail King, I thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time on Get Retail Ready. You all take care.